Hi everyone, it's been a few weeks, but we're back, and I'm not sitting alone in my trusty studio / dining room. I have Out There with Dan with me, and he is on YouTube. He started in 2021 after watching a lot of YouTube, like we all did in 2020 during a Victorian lockdown or everywhere in the world, and he's produced some great content in regards to camping with a good setup in a modest car, and also focusing a lot on storage, which is something I really enjoy doing myself. So I've been speaking to him since he was probably one of his first subscribers back in the day, and 4 years later he's here. So everybody, this is Dan.
Thanks, Anthony. It's a real privilege to be here, to be honest. I'm very grateful for the invite and glad we could finally meet.
Yeah.
Even before COVID, you reached out and said, we should catch up, and it never eventuated. So it feels really good to be here today.
Yeah, well, it's 4 years ago I was thinking about doing this podcast when no one was doing it. Now there's there's probably about 10 camping podcasts. A few gave it a dabble at the start because no one knew what was going to go on during the time of the pandemic. But I guess, I started it 3 years later, and here we are. So you want to give us a bit of a explanation of what you do and what why you do?
Sure. So apart from my day job and two kids and a busy family, I've got the YouTube channel. It's called Out There with Dan, like you say. I've always enjoyed the outdoors, starting with Scouts as a young kid, which turned into cadets at school. And then I later joined the Army Reserve. When my back had it from carrying a pack, and I realised you could enjoy the outdoors without running yourself into the ground, and I started forward driving. And around the same time, my then fiancée, now wife, we were planning a trip around Australia, and we had a Nissan X-Trail to start with. And I thought, that'll be all right, should be right. Yeah, that'll be okay. Reading up, yep, they're a full drive. And I'm glad we decided on getting an old Prado. What was meant to satisfy that craving for getting out there, that trip only ignited it more. So we've put my foot down since then, and spent 2020 watching YouTube. I think I must have watched half the videos on YouTube, and then in 2021 decided to have a crack myself. So early on, it was about reviews and just doing with what I had an old GoPro and just filming videos in the backyard during COVID, and that evolved, and now I'd like to think I put out some pretty high quality videos for an amateur. So
I've been watching recently, and they're pretty really good. Like, you did the Simpson Desert, you've done various trips in the high country, you've done cooking, how to cook lamb, and also with all the fire pit reviews, which off the back of it, I probably did buy a fire pit similar size and maybe a tent the same as, similar. Well, I've been looking at RV5 or Oz tent for years and years, and they've always been out of a price point, and especially just after COVID, like, they went nuts because everyone wanted to, live once and go camping and whatnot, and not to mention the quality probably wasn't there at that time. But as my setup evolved, I'm at a point where I did buy one off Marketplace, and you were buying Pelican cases off Marketplace and redoing them up to suit your needs, like as a kitchen and whatnot. I think a lot of me personally, we were just discussing before in my garage, I like tinkering around and making stuff and watching other people do that like yourself. That was, get the brain going, get things tinker around, save some money and have some fun with it.
That's the whole fun of it, isn't it? Just getting amongst it. So even when you're not out there amongst the trees, you can still tinker away during the week. The Oz tent I'm a big fan of. As a topic on the channel collectively, it's probably got the most views. Probably out of four or five videos, of probably a couple of 100,000 views, which is awesome. They're just a great thing. On doing stuff between trips, when I get home, I'm unpacking the car and looking at what I took and what I should have taken, and what I'll do different next time, and I'm making notes, and then, you know, apart from getting the washing done, drying out the tent, cleaning the fridge, make sure that's nice and dry. I've got a couple of things that I can tinker away with between now and next time I go out.
Yeah, and a lot of the audience would be the same. You know, they load up the camper with everything, and they'll probably take 40% of what they took last time on the next trip. Or what can I make better? What lighting should I add an extra light here? Or maybe I can put a shelf here and that'll make the trip next better, and it evolves, and actually bring that information out on YouTube to show people and sort of have a light bulb idea, and even, you know, review what they're doing. Even, yeah, we're all in the same boat. It's been really fun to watch and see what you do. And what, like, you know, 2025, 2 kids, work, you know, what, how do you make time to go out and do what you want to do? Like, do you do it more for your adventure, getting out there and filling your cup, or do you do it, you mix it both with, you know, making content and also, you know, going out for your own net requirements and family?
Yeah, good question. Sometimes I need to remind myself, because sometimes I think I lose track of that in my in the way I go about it. With the channel, any opportunity to go camping is kind of now a working holiday, because I don't have enough leave from my day job to go and film solely, and then also have the camp trips that I'm planning to purely enjoy 100% and not use cameras. I've come to enjoy that, though. I really look forward to camping trips, but a bit different to how I had in the past. And with the kids, you know, my daughter's old enough, will be soon old enough to hold the camera. So I'm excited that she might come on that journey with me to help in the production process. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a scratchy throat.
It's all right.
Yeah, so the main mission, if I've got the kids there, regardless of the channel, is I want them to want to come back next time with me. So if I'm holding the camera too much and I catch myself doing it, then I'll just put it down, because when they get home, I want them to say, "Yep, I'm coming next time, Dad." And
Yeah.
that's really the main mission at the moment,
That's good.
being a dad. So
I've always said, I kind of want to be that dad where you know, the kids are 18, they got their own cars, they still like camping or not, and they're, you know, "Hey Dad, we're going camping. Do you want to come?" Like, that'd be pretty cool, rather than have to, you know, escape. Oh, got to get away from here or something, like, you know, get away from Dad for a week. He's giving us, you know what, but, you know, I want to be that. I like to be that parent that go like, "Hey Dad, you want to come camping with us? We're going Murray River for 3 days." It'd be like, "Yeah, sweet." Or, you guys go. But to even get asked at that age, I feel like our kids' age, mine are nearly 8. Yours are 6 and 3.
6 and 3.
Yeah, I was listening. And yeah, I feel you're building that base now to go. I remember my kids being 2 years ago, being 6, and you tell them going camping, they'd be packing their bag for 3 months in advance with all their toys and whatnot.
That's so good.
Yeah, it is. And if your partner goes camping sometimes, or, you know, it's a good break for them sometimes when you take the kids away, or, you know, they want to come as well. You can mix and match a bit. Like, you can, you know, go camping and also stay in the cabin for a couple of nights sometimes, depending on the situation.
I think that people overlook that option. You know, against having a caravan of your own, say, you can spend a lot of nights in a nice motel or a cabin for the same price as a caravan, can't you? And and you can still do day walks. You can still see the small towns. You can still go four-wheel driving. But if you haven't got that preparation down pat, well, then that's a good pathway, I reckon.
Yeah, because I like to do a trip up towards... I want to go to Pebbly Beach. That's been a destination I want to go for years. And to do that over X amount of days in a tent strapped on the roof, everything on the car, I'd love to just set up a camp and go do four-wheel driving and come back to camp. Or mix it up a bit, do a couple of days camping, and even just stay in a cabin in the caravan park, maybe one of those 4 or 5 nights, just to mix it up a bit, you know, have somewhere to, say, have a base depending on the weather as well. Like, if the weather's going to be really crap, I'd rather just advance book a hotel, or even a cabin a caravan park, they're not that much more expensive, but at least you got somewhere to sort of refuge because I've done camping in storms and a tent's okay, but that's where the investment of a caravan, or not a caravan, but a hybrid in a sense. Like we were discussing off air the, what was it, the lifestyle camper.
Yep. I was actually at Leisure Fest in Melbourne, the caravan show on the weekend. I've seen enough caravans for a lifetime, I think.
Yeah.
I'd hate to have the money aside and be looking for one and having to make a choice because there's just so many options on the market. But yeah, the one that catches my eye is the Lifestyle Icon E2, and it's a 1.7 tear and 2.5 gross, or is it ATM?
Yeah.
But it pops up. It's got a pop top, but there's bunks set up and a queen bed inside, a full size queen bed, and that to me is the value. Is you can pull up within a couple of minutes. Everyone can be in bed. So if someone's tired or someone needs to nap while someone's making dinner or something, you're not all fumbling over each other trying to sort out the caravan, because I'd hate to have a caravan and have more than a 5-minute setup, to be honest. Like, that's the main appeal to me.
Yeah, I was looking at a hybrid like that, but it was like a Jayco Expander Outback, so it was like a early 2000s, because I don't see the value of spending 30 plus on a caravan at this day and age. To be honest, it's just going to sit there for most of the year creating dust, and to me that's a waste of money. But like if I was to spend say 15 to 20, I get one like an early 2000s Jayco Expander. Yes, you have to pop out the bed, but for size, towing, storage, weight, and the bunks inside, I think it's a good compromise, because you're going to spend more money on convenience, a setup, and lightness. There's never a perfect balance, I believe. Like, I was looking at the Jayco Swan, and I don't I like them, but then I've seen them set up in heavy winds, and I'm like, if I'm going to spend, I'd rather have a cabin set up rather than any canvas on top to keep out of the weather. Coming from a tent, I can't talk, but when that storm came through, watching people sort of refuge into a caravan just looked a bit, you can stay a bit longer on the trip and wait for the pass. Whereas with a tent, I was unpacking it, I was packing it up, putting it on the trailer, and going home early. Whereas a caravan could have been wait for it to pass, or even if you were staying another night, stay that night in the caravan. And that's where the Icon is okay, but there's not much living space in it, I find. That's where the Expander sort of gives you that little bit of tables and chairs to board games,
Sure,
venture out. Sort of stay in. So
I think you can rearrange it a little bit to have a small seating area in the bunk one, but I generally agree. You can always, if playing cards or a board game is the idea, then you can do it outside unless it's howling with wind, I guess. So
that's what
it's
I mean.
really the very extreme end of weather where you're either bunkering down or making plans to leave. I suppose that's when you...
exactly.
Glad you got it, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was like, if you're camping and you see a storm front coming through in the next day or two, you can call around and find a caravan park, even if you've already paid for that spot. Say it's $40 a night. I think it's worth, if you don't have a caravan, going to a cabin for the night. At least it gives you that refuge from the weather. If you're further away from home, if you're in mid-trip and stuff, so...
Why not? And if you've got kids, remember the number one aim is you want them to come again. So
yeah, exactly. So when I was unpacking that thing, unpacking at 6 a.m, they're sitting in the car laughing at me because I was in my bed shots doing it in 30-degree morning and 5:30 in the morning. That was just, that didn't deter them from saying we're never coming again. That was, I hope it goes windy again because we want to see Dad. They just want to have a laugh, and they don't forget it. To you, it's like, oh, and they never come back. Oh, that was the worst. To them, it was the best. But you just got to take the good from the moment and just enjoy it and have a laugh.
Absolutely.
You tell everybody else a story. It's like, I can't believe you did this. What are you going to do? And it's also funny for yourself. And like I said, you live and you learn for next time. That next time, I got rid of that awning that I had to pack up in the wind, because if I went through another storm like that, it wouldn't be here today. It'd be in a skip somewhere, not like a King's awning in the someone's dumped in the. I hate that. I hate seeing people dump stuff in the high country, but that's just one of those things. the industry brings in everybody, and some, unfortunately, there's a certain few that ruin it for all. But it's up.
If you take a cross section of any group in society, you've sort of got a spectrum of behaviour there, and it's no different in the outdoor recreation, is there?
100%, and you're more free and out there than you are in suburbia Melbourne. So, people go a bit feral with the freedom in a sense, and unfortunately, leave a mess. But it's up to us to educate and not tolerate it. And if you've got a group of I always said, if you're going to mate that does that, just don't invite them next time, or put them in line at the time, because end of the day, someone's going to get hurt, or worse, it's trashed. So I don't know about you, but I remember I know a little bit off topic, something like that, but the worst is when you come to a campsite and the fire's still smouldering. I remember my kids being young, and I remember seeing the fire, and I'm like, just give me a minute. Boy, I had to waste half a jerry on water just to put that fire out, the smouldering out, because it could have burnt someone. I think that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, rather than the rubbish. That was having a fire still smouldering when you got kids, even yourselves. Like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big one. It doesn't take that much effort, and maybe a little bit more planning if you don't have the water. But I'm convinced that people are just lazy in the morning and just get up and go. That's my gut feel.
It's like, they're lazy, and they're just like, I went with mate. We used to put the fire out some nights. Sometimes when we went camping, the campsite would say, please put your fire out. So we did before bed. But if you're in the high country, -3, sometimes we used to make a fire. It's enough to have in the morning to, because it's -3, it was all of us camped around it. It'd be -3 at night. Sometimes that was what kept you warm in the night in your swag. And then, wake up in the morning and just spruik it up a bit for breakfast. So, But I guess YouTube, you started in 2020. What was sort of your inspiration? Like, who are your favourite ones you like to watch or still like to watch?
Well, I think like a lot of people, YouTube first connected me with one, Ronnie Dahl, who I think's just done amazing things for Australian adventure YouTube. And he's a brilliant communicator and a brilliant educator. And at the same time, I was watching Andrew St. Pierre White, 4X Overland, and he hadn't been in Australia that long at that point, I recall. And it was sort of great seeing his journey, and his love for Toyotas I certainly share. And I've took some notes from the way he has gone about video, and I've bought some of his courses, enrolled in a few of his courses, and I think he does the storytelling really well.
Yeah, he does.
In this day and age where everyone's got a 4K camera in their pocket, the difference between good content and bad content is the way you can tell a story. And it's not having the fancy drone shots, and it's not one thing. It's understanding how the elements come together to tell the story, and that's what I want to get better at personally.
Yeah, I noticed when a lot more people got the mic, like a Rode mic or a DJI mic with their content. That's made a big change, because you're not hearing that howling wind from the camera talking into it. It's you're watching everybody evolve, even from massive big setups to simple setups. Like you said, you can have the best footage, best drones. Sometimes I get honestly bored with some drone shots. They'll sit there for like 5 minutes showing drone shots with music, and you're like, you sort of skip sometimes. But it's how they tell a story. And you're right. I think St. Pierre White, Ronnie, even some of the new editing, Full Drive 24/7, I've really enjoyed, especially their trip to the Simpson. I just enjoyed the narrative of it, and it was able to keep you, because you want to be essentially engaged the whole time watching it, and do it within the time frame as well. I find some can go for ages doing certain things, and you're sort of skipping, or you sort of walk off. Like, as a creator, you probably don't want, but you want people to be engaged and tell the story like how you see it, and feedback. The feedback you can get.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly how I go about it. I try not to create chaos or create a scene out of nothing. It is what it is. When I'm out there, I'm just sort of documenting my experience, and hopefully people enjoy that, and I inspire people to follow suit and get out there. That's really the aim. And I've only got currently I've got one really good main camera and a bunch of sort of previous generation GoPros, like from they're going on 8 to 10 years old. So yeah, no drone yet. I don't feel like I'm leveled up enough to get the most out of a drone, so I'm sort of self-critical like that. I don't feel like I've exhausted my potential, if that makes sense, before I upgrade to more gear. So yeah, it's more about connecting with my audience and telling the story. And I think a lot of people can lose the plot by going down the gear path too early.
Yeah, I find the drone shots, some of them are good, but it comes down to the pilot as well. And a lot of people have I think a lot of people have technical issues with drones when they're doing it, especially starting off, because it's like a nervous thing. They want to get the best shot, but you're still trying to work out the technology, which is not a bad thing. You got to live and you learn. And sometimes it's good watching on a set. It's of people saying, it flew to base where it was, 2Ks around from where they originally were. They had to find the drone, or it got into a tree. But I find some of the people just even doing, everyone's like, oh, you can just use an iPhone camera or, the GoPros and whatnot. But having a good camera with good lighting and then telling a good story is a good, keeps, people get inspired to go, oh, I want to try that. They'll even go back to a video. Oh, this guy did the Simpson Desert. How did he get there? What was his setup? And talking of setups, we're not talking brand new cars and brand new caravans. I've got a 12-year-old Prada, and yours is 2003?
2002.
2002. Yeah. So, you can, the proof that you can do it in anything, and especially in this climate where people don't want to spend, not everyone wants new beauty of everything, go out and buy a new D-Max or, I'd love to buy a 76 Series Land Cruiser V8, but I'm not going to. I'll get shot. But, I
want a Troopy, so yeah, I'll take one at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But, there's other things. But, you can do it in a modest car with a budget, and you can set it up quite well. And using videos like yours or content like mine talking, it gets people's eyes pricked up, answering questions, asking questions of the suppliers, marketplace, looking on there and getting their friends to help. I got a mate of mine who knows how to weld. Steve, I've interviewed him before, and we made the trailer in my garage. We made from an old rusty trailer and some spare steel we found, and we made it super strong and took it away. It was good fun. We had a budget and we used it and we did it. We didn't film it, but it was good fun.
And it got you out there, right?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did. But now I've, thinking about not taking the trailer next time and putting the RV5 on the roof. I've got the awning, and also not carrying the toilet and trying to lighten up my setup. Like we said, seeing what we take and what we don't take. And so I don't have to carry a trailer. I can do it full on my car. Like I did my first trip, I did without a trailer. But I carried a lot of stuff because they were 2 years old, and we carried a lot of stuff. I'm sure now, it'll be a massive reduction, but yeah, over the 6 years of camping with the kids, it evolves. So it's just, I love that learning curve because I only use the trailer really for rubbish or going camping. But if it does work without the trailer, then it's another evolution of it. Sure, I love a camper to do it with, but the setup of a tent and what I've got now would probably be quicker than setting up a full Ford camper. It's storage as well. So not everyone has a place to store the caravan or camper these days because we're all in smaller houses.
Yeah, you'll definitely feel that weight up top, but not towing. I always think that everyone should aim not to tow. You ideally want to have no weight on the roof and not tow, but that's not practical. So, then you go to the next step, which is a roof rack, and then you go to the next step, which is deciding to tow something. But I still think people tend to default to tow because that's what is keeping up with the Joneses, I think.
Are you saying tow with a caravan, or are you towing with a trailer with your camper?
I'm talking a camper or a caravan in this case.
Yes, yeah.
But I guess even some people might think they need to fill a box trailer when they just may need to be a bit smarter about how they pack the car.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, if you've got a tent that's 36 kilos, You're not putting it on the roof.
No, because then you're not bringing any food or clothes.
Example, friends of ours that I travel with, they got a CX-5 and they got roof racks, and they borrow their family trailer and they fill that trailer up with the tent and all the toys and stuff. So the car's light, but the trailer's there. But more importantly, they got a base. But number two, there's less weight on the roof of the car, less wind trail, and it works for them because CX-5 you haven't got much storage, and when they once a year or twice a year they go camping, that's for them. That's worked for me. I'm going to trial out this trip without a trailer, and I can report back. There'll be pros and cons for both, but the main thing is not have. I think for me, I just want to try it. I just want to be self-sufficient in the car. I have the Pioneer rack on the car I can do it with, and they've got the Prado. But then, even the borrow a camper, my mate's like, just borrow my camper. I'm like, I still got to get possibly airbags for the rear springs because they're 0 kilo rated. And also you need a brake controller. And that's $300 there.
Yeah.
So, for a 3 night trip, I'm happy to trial it out. And then moving forward in the future one day, I want to buy a camper. So, like a hybrid camper.
Yep.
So I can store everything in there and it'd be easier set up with the kids. And, when they get older, they can go into swag. And it's a bit of it's nimble enough to go out and take it anywhere, but not and also made for the car, because if I put a 18-foot caravan on the back of the Prado, it's not going to cope, because they're not you want to be getting a 200 if you want to be getting a bigger caravan, I'd say.
It sounds like you're thinking well into the future, which is part of the challenge too, right? It's good that you're going to, even if you end up in going back to the trailer, it's good that you dabble in a different way to do it. It's sort of like you're getting better at it each time. That's how I feel about it. And generally feel most proud when I pack less. So I go, gee, it felt great to not bring as much stuff. Let's do that again.
Because you had the Drifter kitchen, that wooden kitchen. Do you still use that?
Actually trying to sell it at the moment.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
It suited our needs for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just too heavy for me to lift into the car, to be quite honest.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were to carry that plus everything plus the family, you'll need a trailer.
Yes.
And I made a Drifter kitchen like that out of plywood. And then I sold it because it was it was way too cumbersome and too heavy. But I had the trailer. But there's always you find different ways of cooking. Personally, I like the gas stove with the gas bottle or a butane, like the canister bottles. I got the Coleman one. That you got the propane bottle.
Yep.
I don't like the butane can ones. Sometimes I find they just don't produce enough heat.
Yep, they don't do as well in the cold either, I think.
Yeah.
So I've been caught out there a few times with butane.
And then, I'm not going to get lithium for induction. That's just a waste for me personally. Be handy to carry just a stove, just in case you get a caravan parking. You can just plug it in if it's windy. It's Kmart selling for $30. Be good to carry as an emergency, but I'm rarely at a caravan park, to be honest.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And the caravan parks aren't bad. People go, you got to get in the wilderness to go camping. Caravan parks with kids, they meet with other kids, they play with other kids. There's other things to do. So we went to Tora when they were 4. It was a 30-something degree day, and we were in the indoor pool. We went for drives. Stuff is safe. There was a refuge to a rec room with stuff to play when there was air conditioning. So it was good to escape the heat. And more importantly, the kids just made friends instantly with all the other kids in the park and had an absolute ball. They still talk to this day about those kids that they met. They even still remember the names. I'm fascinated sometimes. Geez, that was years ago. And, like we were talking before, a good mixture is not bad. Bit of caravan park, bit of remote. It's a good mixture especially for the kids in the developing, and especially, you're traveling with the kids by yourself or your partner, whatever, however you travel, it's nice to have a bit of a break as well.
How good they remember their names. That's so cool.
Yeah.
There's a Bluey episode where they meet a French tourist at a caravan park, and I can't remember his name, but it's one of those really tragically sad episodes where the French kid leaves and there's a communication difference, and Bluey doesn't understand that he's saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And
I
then
remember that.
yeah,
What's his name? I'm looking it up.
someone will tell you in the comments, I reckon.
I'm looking it up. Yeah, but the funny story of that is they saw each other later.
Yeah, I can relate a lot of my life to Bluey at the moment.
Oh,
Bandit Healer is parenting gold standard. I often aspire to be more like Bandit Healer.
John Luke was his name.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc
Yeah.
was his name. I remember that episode. Bluey's Bandit's the ultimate dad for sure. Especially my favorite is still the Grey Nomads when they're going away.
Oh, they get stuck behind the procession of caravans.
Yes, it happens when we travel. It happened to me at work. I was driving to Albury, and you pass all these caravans, and you had to stop for petrol. Then you see the same people on the road in the single lane, and you're just like, oh, you bastards! I'm gonna be one of you one day. But seriously, come on, you really? And you just relate back to that. But I do like that. But that episode's good because they didn't have their screens and they were just doing things in the car to entertain themselves. And that was it was good because it felt like when we were in the 90s, we never had screens in the car. Mine don't have screens in the car. We only go 2 hours. It's not too bad. If we're probably going to New South Wales, you probably have to put a movie on, an iPad or something just to get through the trip. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, a lot of Blue episodes you can relate to your camping trips to everyday life. But
what about snacks in the car? What do you like? Do you feed the kids snacks too?
Yeah.
Yep.
I do. Surprisingly, they're very clean. My car's probably one of the cleanest cars with kids. I won't lie. But
I can tell you that's the truth. That's definitely the truth.
Oh yeah, you looked at my car before. But sometimes when I'm driving, the best, if you're driving, you need to give them a good snack or something that's going to fill them up. Cheese Vegemite scrolls from Baker's Delight. Like the mini ones, a 6-pack. A couple of those can get you through. Popcorn sometimes a nightmare because it just fills them up it just goes away so fast. I try not to give them too much yogurts and stuff in the car because if you have a bit of a windy trip, you know about it. I actually have the I had to restock those chuck up bags you get in the hospital. The ones that come out with the plastic underneath.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter's she gets a little bit of sickness in the car, but having a couple of those in the car has been handy for her particularly. And I know a lot of listeners have kids that throw up in the car, unfortunately, or feel a bit sick because they are in the back. That sometimes the car's full. You are claustrophobic. It's a bit different. So yeah, it happens. But yeah, the Baker's Delight sort of fills their stomach up a bit. Doesn't make them so queasy. Fruit sometimes can make them a bit queasy as well. So
great advice there. I might give that a go. But Paisley's only ever thrown up in the car once. We were on the windy part of the Great Ocean Road, and she just sort of grumbled for a second and then projectile. And she'd never done it before. We were totally unprepared.
Yeah.
So that definitely happens.
Oh yeah, and that's I got the jerry. I was telling you, I'm making a jerry can with the shower head, with the pump in the garage. So I bought a jerry can. I'm going to strap in the back of the car. But I'm going to have on-demand water with a shower head that you can press on and it pumps water straight away rather than using gravity, which leaked last time. That'd be perfect. That's my daughter threw up in the back of the car on the Black Spur, and I had to go on the other side of the Black Spur to the emergency lane to solve it all. I had the hazard lights on. It was a nightmare, but you do what you got to do, right? Now, if you don't know the Black Spur, Google it. It's a stretch of road after Healesville that goes towards the high country, going towards Rubicon, and it's quite treacherous at night. It's actually good on a bad day sometimes. It's bad on a good day. There's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of idiots on the road there, and there's no room for error when you have to pull over a car with a trailer. So
would have been some character building that day, I reckon.
I had to change her. I had to strip her down and change her. She was 3. I had to strip her down and change her in the back of the car, whilst on the other side of the road in the emergency lane with hazard lights on, high beams on to show that people I was there. And yeah, it was character building, all right, but just got to get it done. Baby wipes are the best in that case, and carrying extra plastic bags and having a bin bag on the spare wheel is the best because you don't have to smell it in the car.
The best place for it.
Yep, exactly. I think we hosed down the clothes and kept them in the bin for the rest of the bin bag for the rest of the trip until we got home. But you didn't have to smell it. It was great. And yeah, I guess being wagon based as well. What have you found that what's been your favourite part of the setup? To keep you've done the Simpson, you've done a fair few trips now, solo and with family. What have been sort of the three things you could say you've done to your car that's been optimised to set up for an easier trip?
Sure. I might start with talking about the car in a sec. Yeah, so it's a 90 series Land Cruiser Prado. It's the TX model, which is the diesel, and it's got the good traction control that the Grande had in those years, but it doesn't have the leather seats and the electric seats and the sunroof. So basically all the stuff that you don't want in a 20-year-old car, it hasn't got, but it's got the better than punches well above its weight in traction control. And off-road features. So I've got a cargo barrier in the back. I've taken out the third row of seats, and under the bonnet it's mostly stock. And I've done some fairly standard modifications and added things on over time to make it fit for my purpose. So bull bar winch, some modest driving lights, slightly larger tyres, 2-inch lift, steel wheels, and roof racking, a nice GME 2 dBi aerial on the roof. So really the back is... Oh, sorry, and one, I will answer this. The first thing is I've just installed a drop-down table on the tailgate, and that is amazing. So I can't believe I waited so long for that. So if you've got a wagon and you don't have a drawer pulling out directly into it all the time, then you should consider getting a drop-down.
You have to have the barn door.
Yeah, also
as well.
have the barn door, of course.
Prado, Pajero. I did. That was the first thing I did, and I had the XTM drawer with the table. I got rid of the drawer because the drawer weighed 40 kilos, and I replaced it with 2 boxes that weighed 5 kilos between the two. That's been a weight reduction, but also a convenient factor because the drawers, unless you got the drawer that goes right out and you can utilize the whole space and doesn't move around when you drive, that's perfect. But yeah, that table, number one.
Table number one. This is camping, by the way, sort of not driving, I suppose. I'm a big fan of canvas bags, so around the time I started the channel, I invested heavily in drifted canvas bags, and I've collected even more since then. Canvas bags are good because it stops dirty things from getting in the car, and you can be a bit more haphazard with throwing stuff in there. And secondly, it stops things rattling around, and it protects what's in there. So I think it's a good alternative to having plastic storage boxes, or can be used really well in combination with plastic storage boxes.
I agree on that one. I got the canvas bags inside, in the boxes, so I keep everything separated.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it, I reckon. You got the front runner boxes, right?
I got the front runner high boxes, so yeah, I got them in, and inside I got the canvas bags for, say, coffee, or that one I just showed you from Anaconda that has all the utensils in it. So it's separated in, and it's not just a box where you just dip everything in it. I'm starting to categorize everything. It's taken time, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm doing a trip that's myself and 1 or 2 of the kids, so no wife, then I've probably got my 30-litre fridge on the right of the boot, kitchen box in the middle, and my lithium power station on the left facing the wheel arch to plug things in there. And then heavy stuff at the back against the cargo barrier, and then canvas bags on top for bedding and clothes and stuff. And pretty much I can pull out the canvas bags on top, access everything else. So that's the tricky bit with a basic wagon setup without drawers, is it's hard to make it everything really accessible. And that's where that 1% each time you go out comes in, where you go, I really, really wish I had a way of getting to that easier, or
yeah,
and it was a real pain when I had to reach for that. How can I do that different? And that's where you just tweak over time, and then all of a sudden you go, I don't actually need heavy draw system or something like that.
No, and I just want to bring. You were just talking about that, and I was just saying to you, one of my favorite mods was that standalone rear shelf that goes on top, and I was just curious. They actually made for your car, which they actually do. So that essentially it's a shelf that sits on the roof in your boot. It sits about 150 mil below, like you can't even see it from a mirror. I didn't realize they made them for your car. So
I didn't either.
We're looking at it. Sorry, just to give you context, everyone. I'm showing Dan. Dan's seen it in my car, and now he's just looking at it, how they actually make it for his 90 Series Prado. And it actually mounts to the grab handles of the rear. So, yeah, it only sits 100. The lowest setting's 190 mil, and you can't even see it from your rear mirror. I have that shelf, and I put my pillows in it. I keep my stuff in it when I'm traveling. I keep currently, like, if I'm not traveling, I keep a canvas bag, exactly that one there in the Prado as well, with, like, towels and spare clothes and stuff, just as for an emergency when I'm driving every day, if I want to go for a swim or something. Yeah, they actually make it for your car.
Yeah, so, right. Great spot for pillows, like you say.
Yeah, because sometimes when you pack your pillows, the first thing that comes out when you stop is the pillows, because they're the lightest thing, and it keeps everything quite snug, quite good. So, food for thought. If you yeah.
I've got something similar actually on the other side of the cargo barrier.
I saw that. Yeah.
But it's just a net. What's the company? It's a Boab off-road half cargo net.
Yeah.
Which I've rigged up, mounted to the cargo barrier and the passenger handles. And that's for jackets and light stuff up there. But yeah, it's similar concept. I reckon that could work well for me in the boot. Something to consider.
So so you can take your canvas bags, your table, and we've got one more.
That's probably it. That cargo barrier above your head, because you want to keep light stuff up high, heavy stuff down low.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Make your storage. It's good to have your storage in a place where you can change things up. You don't want to commit to a path and then 12 months later change it all.
Yeah.
I think it all comes back to that iterative learning and just getting out there and tweaking it each time.
Yeah.
But it definitely can be done. Like you said, we've been in the Simpson Desert. My daughter, she's 6, and she would have been to, by the time she turned 6, she'd been to Moreton Island, the South Australia coast, the Simpson Desert, the Victoria High Country, and other places, and it's all been travelling with her and
in your car,
in the car, and
it's a basic setup. Or you could say it's basic, but it works for you. And some others, like I like the Pelican cases, so you turn a Pelican case in the kitchen. I've used the Pelican case for my gear, and I was looking at your ideas, what you were doing for storage for that, and using it for my own. But yeah, I find channels like yourselves are very interesting. I find people with younger kids that sort of go, I can't take my kid to Cape York. They probably got a basic, it's not that hard. They're just got to watch other people do it, even reach out to you for advice. I'm sure you give advice. You're giving me a pamphlet on different aspects of traveling, and that's grouse. That's something that fits in your glove box. That's something you can refer to. It's fantastic. I'm building a website at the moment to do stuff like that. I've been I've got so many notes in my phone with content that I want to put up on it, particularly traveling with kids that get a bit nervous sometimes, or different aspects of traveling with families and yourself. Admittedly, I feel like I'm having a panic attack sleeping in a swag because I feel claustrophobic, and just finding ways that, I'm not the only one that does. I know a lot of people do, especially in the first or second night camping, or depending on the situation.
Yep. I've heard you say that on the airwaves.
Yeah. So I can easily admit that. Like, some people you go camping, you're like, how do you sleep? Like, you just don't know. You don't know what they're going through. They could tell you they were sleeping, but they probably weren't. They're probably ashamed of saying it, or, it sucks sometimes, but I've found ways to make it work. So
you can kind of put a lot of pressure on yourself if you're only going out a handful of times a year, or it's you go out often and not often enough that it's fairly novel. You're kind of putting a lot of pressure on yourself to enjoy, aren't you? And that can really do things to you mentally.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I've made this time to go. I've only got this amount of time to go. I should be relaxed and doing this, doing that. But sometimes the daily life pressures of work, family, and life can sort of manifest a bit more because it's quieter. You haven't got the distraction of the TV or whatever is around. There's less distractions when you're camping, and that's sometimes when the brain can sort of fill up and manifest depending on the situation. And sometimes you can make your mind clearer when you get home, or you get motivated to do different things when you get home. Like I want to renovate that. When I was camping, I made a plan of making something, and you go home and make it. Or depends. You could have had an argument before you left with colleagues, family, and sometimes you can think it through, mellow it out, and sort of sort it out when you get home. There's different ways. I think I want to get into that a bit more sometimes. But yeah, putting it to paper or talking about it, sometimes it is hard. And I think, you have a lot of hard conversations with friends when you go camping.
Yep, and you have those hard conversations with yourself, don't you? When the noise stops and you can really you really take a step back and reflect on your life and how you're really going. Yeah, it can be really illuminating and challenging.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's. And admittedly, sometimes it's harder when you haven't got phone reception to sort of check in, or you can that. I find I like to camp somewhere with phone reception, or at least access to it quickly if you need be. If you need to go for a drive or a walk, but I'm learning more and more that don't need it anymore. And yeah, it's taking time. Everyone's different, so I can admit that at least.
Do you feel like you're more free, like you're really disconnected and able to be with yourself? Is that?
Yeah, I can sort of say, I know everything's going to be okay. It feels, you can always wait till tomorrow kind of sense. Like if you're traveling away from the kids, you don't want to get a message they're in hospital or something, like that's worst case. But you do go through in your head when you're out. People go, oh no, it's all right, but you just never know.
An emergency could happen at home, right? And that's probably the number one, I reckon, that I would worry about. Yeah, I suppose it depends on your home situation and your support network. If something horrible did happen, even if you raced home, would it make any difference?
It depends.
It's do you live your life on? I don't know. This is getting quite philosophical, but if you've got to take chances in life, don't you? Otherwise, to do the things you want to do, everything requires sacrifice, risk, and challenge.
So, hypothetically, if there was an emergency at home that you're in the Simpson, you hear an emergency, do you just say, I'm picking up the car and driving home as fast as I can? Or do you have that buffer of a plan where you go, we need to get home right now. Do we have a plan to get on a plane from a certain airport and make our way home? Like, it comes that number one. I think about that is cost factor in a sense, because that would cost an absolute bomb. But how much time do you have? Depending on the situation, I think if I was going to do a trip like that, if I was by myself, I'd probably have to have a budget factor to say I was going to Fraser Island, drive to Brisbane, fly home if I have to, if it was that short amount of time, and just leave the car somewhere versus, 2-3 days driving home.
It's a good hypothetical to think about. It probably depends on a lot of the details, but you'd generally try to get the car to the nearest place that has an airport, and then you'd be on the satellite phone trying to work it out.
Yeah.
Or you'd I don't know, hit the PLB. No, you wouldn't hit the PLB because you're not the one being rescued. But if you'd have a sat phone to hear about it otherwise, or a mobile phone otherwise.
Do you have a sat phone on your trip?
No. So I should talk about PLB. So sorry, I mentioned setting off the PLB. Then that's not the time you would set off a PLB. Because if you were in an emergency and you heard about it at home, you've got phone reception or internet or a sat phone to start with. So, yeah, I reckon everyone that goes camping, you don't even have to be that remote, should carry a PLB.
I'm getting one before my trip.
Yeah.
We definitely, I've got away with it this far, but if you're like, say Paradise Valley, there's no reception. You can drive to the top of the hill for 000. I haven't tested out. Elon Musk has got the sat on Telstra, but I don't know if that's working. But say the kid got bitten by a snake or something happened which is needed emergency straight away, you can just press a button. Like I'd think about that or Starlink for emergencies, but yeah, like it depends how much you go out and stuff. But EPIRB is a $350 insurance policy in the cupboard. I mean, in the glove box.
But depending on when it was manufactured and the battery, and it lasts up to 10 years. So
yeah.
Anyone that knows someone that goes out into the wilderness where there's no phone reception, encourage them to get one or get one for their next birthday. That I really think that there's too many people out there getting around without them.
Or even still on Vodafone and Optus when they go away.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I just think if you're going to go remote, you need at least Telstra. Like,
yep.
You'd be surprised at where you get reception in Telstra overseas. And I'm not plugging Telstra. I hate paying my bill every month. But they're practically a monopoly out there.
Yep. Are you familiar with Booster Mobile? Have you heard of them?
No.
So they use the Telstra network.
Oh, yeah.
A budget option. But they have, it's either 99 or 100% of full access to the Telstra network.
They mostly do. Them and Belong, I think it is. And a few, maybe Aldi, I'm not too sure, but I know Belong do.
Yep. No, Aldi sucks, I can confirm that.
Okay, yep. Good to know. Good to know.
So a few years' time down the track, hopefully we've all just got sat phones in our pockets along with our 4K cameras.
I think everyone's going to be having, like the amount of people that carry Starlinks now is crazy. I went camping with a group of friends and about 5 cars had Starlink out of the 20, if not more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and then, but it's so good because I find it good because you can sign on for a month and you can pause it. It's not a plan, like 24-month plan. So if you're traveling, say 4 times a year and you're going remote, you've got kids and even by yourself, like myself, you're a bit nervous, you need connection. It's $600 for the Starlink. If you've got a basic battery setup, it plugs into your SIG lighter and you're just on your way. And you got great internet. I just don't want to give money to Elon Musk. But wrapping up. Yeah.
Wrapping up? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we've gone nearly an hour.
Have I said anything good?
Yeah, you have. We've had a good conversation.
Goes pretty quick, and I can't even remember the start.
But yeah, like on an outer note, like what do you got planned for the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, well, probably in the next couple of months, I'm going to hit 100 videos on the channel. And I've said to myself for a while, once I've got 100 videos on the channel, I'm going to do a bit of soul searching and work out and really double down on something in the channel. So there'll be sort of a decision point to make, which I'm looking forward to. And I've got to finish this Simpson Desert trip. Next week, I mentioned I had a mishap, I had an accident just heading out of Mount Dare, which is quite embarrassing. But that'll be on my next episode, so check out there with Dan.
I'll put a link on to the show notes as well.
And yeah, want to get back to the cooking videos. When you mentioned that, I thought, oh, geez, I haven't done much of that in a while.
We'll have to do one together. I love cooking.
Oh, sounds good.
I got to bring out a TRC Concepts. They gave me a fire grill to use, and I'm really keen to get out there and use it. Not just to make content. I actually want to try it and use it. It's really cool, and shout out to him. Yeah, it was appreciated he sent it, not just to make content or anything, but I actually really can use it because I've followed Harry Fighter Fork for years, and he's used one similar, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And yeah, any trip like to do that? Any got any trips sort of planned up or anything?
Not at them. Nothing huge. When things open up again in the high country, we'll do a trip. Probably in December. I found December is a good time to travel up there as long as there's no bushfire risk. Yeah, the weather's pretty good and it's pretty quiet. I think most people stress out in the population centres that time of year. We've come to learn.
I'm in sales. December's my hardest time to go away sometimes, but at the same time, you always make time. like we said.
Yeah, that's right. If we've got to think about doing this stuff over a lifetime. You know, that's how I think about it when things get busy, and I just think like, oh, it wasn't to be this time, or you know, this is a busy period, but it, you know, things change, and if you look at it over a lifetime, then you're gonna have a good time.
Exactly, and like we said, you know, you look at those, like your kids, your Paisley 6, mine at 8. Like, how many more summers you got to go until they're 18? And
Wow,
you know,
I heard you say this. Oh yeah.
I always count the summers now. Like, you know, grade 2, the year 12. Like, there's not many to go. You got to make that. I find you just got to make the most of that time, and also, you know, you got to have your own time as well. And
when you first said that the other week, I actually physically cringed and like had a moment of reflection, because I hadn't heard that phrase before. Yeah, but that strikes a nerve with me.
Yeah,
something.
even like Easter, like they had the Easter bonnet. I know it's off topic, whatever. They had the Easter bonnet hat, so like parade at school. Like, they make an Easter hat for school and they parade it, and they said, "Oh, it's the last time the grade 2s do that." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually watching." Like, I made time to watch them. I know, like, it's sometimes like, "Oh, I'm busy with work," but that time I watched them do the parade, I'm like, "That's the last of that. They're not going to do that anymore." And it's like, when's the last of this? When's the last of that? And you're like, it goes too fast. So yeah, that's why I make time to go and try and take them out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
it goes quick, eh?
It does. So does this. Oh, we feel like we're talking for half an hour, but really we've done really well. So I really appreciate your time, taking your time on a Monday arvo to come here after work. It's greatly appreciated. It's great to get your I wanted the audience to get to know you and search your content, and, you know, get in touch, and I think a lot of people will learn a lot from you.
It's been an absolute privilege, Anthony. Thank you. And we'll have to go camping.
Yes, we will. We'll have to organise it off air and film it, maybe. You never know. So thanks, everyone, for your time. I will be a bit more sooner with my episodes than previous. It's just life gets in the way. But, like, you know, I'm not going to go down that topic. But, yeah, you sort of fall down the algorithm of the podcast sometimes if you're not constant. But you have to come back for another chat, Dan. So I appreciate your time, and have a good day.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.